Welcome to all my travelers out there. I am your host, Darren Beckett, and this is the Global Travel Podcast. For those who do not know my travel resume, I've been to 13 states, 15 countries on 5 different continents, but it is not about me. Here, we are giving you quality travel tips, insights, and recommendations on all the best destinations for ideas to enjoy your vacations. With that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We are all clear for takeoff. Before we reach our destination, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and if you could do me a favor, if you can go into the comment section below, type in the words, "I got my ticket," and at the end of the show, I'm going to come back, I'm going to respond and see how your experience went with us, okay? So with that being said, on today's episode, we are taking a trip to Budapest. So make sure you got your passports, your earphones, and something to snack on. We have a very special guest here with us today, but before I introduce him, let me just say this. Now, this gentleman right here is well-rounded. He's been across the world. As a matter of fact, he's been to 10 states and 16 countries. So if Budapest is on your list, you definitely want to pay attention. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Mr. Brandon Gillies. What's going on with you, Brandon?
Good, man. Thank you, Darren. Thank you for having me on the show this morning, man.
No problem, brother. No problem. Did I pronounce your name right? I don't know if I pronounced. I just want to make sure I got it right. Was it? Okay.
That was actually exact.
Okay. Cool. As long as we good on that. Okay. All right. So now my brother name is Brandon too, so that's pretty dope. So before we get into all the travels, let's talk about a little bit about who you are, where you're from, where you live, your work, hobbies, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. So I'm 32. Birthday is actually next week, Friday. So I'm originally from Houston, Texas, born and raised. I currently live right now in Atlanta, Georgia. As far as like personal like work and everything, I got a small sneaker business on the side, but my main job is I'm a telecommunications manager for Verizon. So I've been doing that for the last 6 years. So they actually provided me a lot of opportunities and everything with travel, with a lot of PTO and time off and everything. So that's how I'm able to experience the world and travel abroad and do everything as much as often as I like to. As far as hobbies and everything, you know, I'm like, let's just lay back. I'm into all the investing, traveling the world, sneakers, of course, because that turned my passion to my hobby and everything. But other than that, you know, I'm at home, you're probably just going to catch me at home asleep, chilling, you know, catching as much sleep as possible because I'm a busy man, always on the go.
Right. That makes sense. So what kind of sneakers? Is it Jordans or all kind of sneakers, or what type of sneakers you into?
And listen, I'm into everything at this point. I wouldn't say I'm a hype beast or a sneakerhead so much because it's just something I kind of got back in tune with about 3 years ago. But it was just like I started off going after all the sneakers I always wanted as a kid that my parents could never afford to get me. And it just kind of started adding up. And now I got like a plethora of stuff now. And so I just like, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to start letting some of this stuff go. So whatever I get my hands on, that's pretty much what I sell. You know, I kind of do a consignment as well with a few different things for people. So it's just a way for me to kind of get a little bit more exposure and have a side income of, revenue coming in as well.
So for all you sneakerheads out there, if you need some sneakers, you definitely need to hit Brandon up. He can definitely help you out with that. And whatever, it's not just Jordans, it's other type of sneakers as well. So definitely tap in, and I'll leave all your information, all your Instagrams and all that, your Facebook, whatever you got going for me. I'll put it down here so you guys can have access to it. So cool. I like that. Now let's go ahead and I'll get to the travels. So you said you're in Atlanta, Georgia right now, correct?
Yes, correct. So I've been here about 18 years or so, on and off.
Okay, well let's go ahead and talk about ATL since you already you there. Let's start off there before we head to another state. What do you recommend us to do? See what's ATL all about?
All right, so Atlanta is a party city. It's full of life and everything. So ever since this whole COVID thing, nothing has really shut down. So I mean, this is where everybody's coming right now. So I would suggest, like, if you're looking for food and everything, Atlanta is like a cultural melting pot. You have a lot of different soul food, a lot of different like country dishes and everything. So if you're a big on the whole brunch movement, such as myself, I would definitely recommend a couple of spots like the Grill Village. You're going to get your authentic Jamaican cuisine. mixed in with a little bit of party lifestyle. So it actually used to be a traditional fire station right in the heart of downtown Atlanta. They converted it to a 2-story restaurant where downstairs is mainly like the main course restaurant. You order like normal, have a bar and everything. But upstairs, they have a DJ with the live music and everything 24/7. And then also they have the buffet. So everything that consists of downstairs on their menu, they have it upstairs at your leisure, make as many plates. And they also have a wet bar upstairs. So I would definitely recommend that. If you're looking for more of a, I guess, Southern style cuisine, there's a traditional place called Mary Mac's. I would say it's mixed reviews. A lot of people say they love it. A lot of people say they hate it. For me, I love the place because it really has like everything you could ever think of. If you're going to like somebody's like table for Thanksgiving, everything you could think of is on the menu there. So they got the sweet potato souffle, homemade mac and cheese, the chicken fried chicken, meatloaf, everything. So definitely recommend that. But if you're more so looking for parties and everything like that, there's always different clubs, nightlives, and day parties popping up all the time here. So I definitely recommend, checking out, Peachtree Street, which runs all the way from downtown to Buckhead, which are going to be the two main lively cities within the city of Atlanta. And definitely checking out on weekends, I would definitely recommend going down to Piedmont Park. There's a lot of stuff always going on there. Like one time I just kind of popped up and they had a hot air balloon festival in the middle of a Sunday the whole weekend. So it's just random things always going on every weekend. So if you're looking for something to do, Atlanta's the place to go just to kind of get away and just kind of take an adventure within a small city, which feels like a big city, so to say.
Definitely. Yeah, man, a lot to do in the ATL. So if y'all ever in the ATL, definitely do it's turn up city, night parties, day parties, you got good food as well, so try out the different foods that they got going on. And then it's just a lot going on. It's random Sundays you run into a hot air balloon festival or something like that. So it's just a lot going on. It's a lot going on ATL. So if that's what you want to do, definitely put that on your list if it's not already. So let's hear you said you from Houston, Texas. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and head to H-Town. Let's head to Texas for a quick second. What's going on in Texas?
Man, so Texas, I would say, is very relatable to Atlanta as far as just the nightlife, party vibes, and everything. I would just say Texas, Houston as well, is a lot more culture than Atlanta because you have a little more of the Midwest, a little Southern twang and everything all into one. So you're going to get a mixture of everything. But I would say as far as a city, it's going to be 5 times as big as Atlanta. So with the city overall itself, Houston's like the 3rd biggest city in the United States, where Atlanta's, I think, last time I checked, like 34th. So a lot of people never really knows that because they think of Hotlanta or Atlanta and everything like that. And they say, oh, it's a big city. It's really not. We just make it what it is. So Houston itself, you're going to have a lot of the, Southern culture. You're going to have a lot of Caribbean culture because there's a lot of, Caribbean diaspora and everything there. And then you also have a lot of Nigerian culture as well. As well. So that's what I didn't really know too much about. So I'm actually going back out there this weekend for my birthday because it's been a couple of years since I've been back out there. But I'm looking to go find more opportunities and things out there that I could, get in tune with as far as just like reaching out to friends and family, networking and everything like that. So I wouldn't say I know too much about Houston as far as the whole nightlife and food places because that's why I'm going back out there to kind of get in touch with. But that's something, once I do have that more information, I can definitely get back to with you all and give y'all an update list on, okay, these are the places and things to check out once I go back.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I'm assuming you tried the barbecue in Texas, right? I'm only guessing.
Oh, man, let's not talk about barbecue. I'm like, like when it comes to barbecue, I'm all over the place because every like Southern state has their own twist to barbecue. With the Tennessee, you got that dry rub. Georgia, you got that, barbecue, the barbecue sauce and everything. Texas is more so, what is it? Out there, it was like, everything was like grilled with some kind of dry rub sauce. And they also have like the mustard-based sauce as well. So every state has something different they add to the barbecue game. So I'm kind of undivided as who has the best. It's just all about what your taste buds and what you enjoy as far as texture and everything like that.
Right. And I run into a lot of people who honestly say Texas got the best barbecue. So I can't confirm or deny, but they do got some great barbecue. I don't know who has the best. I haven't tried everyone's barbecue, so I can't. I hear Missouri. I just learned that Missouri got great barbecue actually. So that's something new for me.
Okay, never knew
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Me neither. Me neither. So I want to try different places, but Texas, yeah, I confirm that it has good barbecue. I do. Yeah, that's for sure. For sure. So, all right, cool. So Texas, we definitely stopped at Texas. Now let's go to a state that's not so popular as Georgia and Texas. So, what do you recommend we go first or
Let's
next?
see. I would say just for the culture, go to Michigan. So Michigan is something
Mm,
that's always off of someone's radar. So I actually had an opportunity to move out to Detroit a couple of years ago, right after college, and it was something that kind of blindsided me because I was expecting to move back to Texas, but things changed last minute. So I ended up going to Detroit, living there for about a year. But I would say outside the city of Detroit, just like venturing out, like going to like Kalamazoo, some of the big college towns, or just outside the city itself, there's a lot of different things you wouldn't readily see or be notable, like knowing that you will find in Michigan. So you're
mhm.
right there about all like the major like Lake Erie and everything. So during the summertime, it's nothing to take like a 2 hour drive up to the state of to top of Michigan, go out to the lake, spend the weekend out there. They got great cabins and log, what's called camping grounds and everything out there. Also, I would definitely say the food up there, just in the city of Detroit itself, is also unexpected because they got a lot of, I would say, Amish and a lot of Western European influence out there. So a
Mhm.
lot of people, they don't think about it, but a lot of people back in the early 50s, 60s, they moved out to Detroit, which was supposed to be like the next New York City because they had like the steel industry, they had the car markets and the factories out there, and everything was booming back then. So
Mhm.
you had a lot of families moving out from the South and out from Europe out there to come work at these places. And so with that, they brought their food and their culture and everything out there. So I remember when I was out there, I had some of the best like corn hen and hash, and some what is it, like cabbage. I was like, oh my god, like I was not expecting that. It is like at a little mom and pop place. So
Right.
for me, where I'm used to being in the South, every morning you wake up, you go to a Waffle House or IHOP or something like that, or some little
Mhm.
hole in the wall place. Every place up there, they had their own little twist to like their own like culture and their foods and everything like that. So I know up there, excuse me, they had their comparison to like Waffle House with Coney Island. You have that on every single corner. So with that, you
Mhm.
got like automatically, you already got a different like menu of random things from hot dogs to cheese sticks to burgers, pizza and corn hen and hash, all that kind of stuff. So I would definitely say go there just to see like for the food. But as far as the culture, just being downtown in the city, there's a lot of revolutionary things as far as the whole Black Power movement. The Black Panthers and everything was down there. I mean, a lot of Detroit itself, if you just sit there and look at it, it has a story to tell about, just like from the upbringings to like the downfall of times and economic and drugs and everything. So it's just one of those places you just want to go and see just to kind of get your own perception. Just don't look at it on TV and be like, oh, yeah, it's like supposedly one of the worst places to live, but just go there to visit and say that you've been because honestly, you can see Canada right outside the window when you're in the center of downtown because you have what is the place called? Can't remember the name of the city, but the bridge and the tunnel connect Detroit to Canada, which is like a 10-minute drive. So you can get the best of
Mhm.
both worlds. And, right when you go into Canada, they got all the casinos and everything. And then, you can do everything pretty much in Canada that you can't
Wow.
do here in the US. So I would definitely say just go for the experience just to check it
Right.
out,
Right.
you know. And then also, oh, can't forget Motown. Motown Records, that's where it all started. So if you're a big music fanatic, go out there, check out Motown. You get to go inside. It's like a little small museum where they turn the whole record label into. So if you're looking for a good photo op or anything, just to tell a story, just be like, hey, I went to Motown, checked it out. You can actually be on the grounds where the Temptations and everybody was founded. So it's something, rich as culture wise to see.
Wow, I did not. You see, Michigan. See, you guys, you getting some good information about these off the beaten path states. So, Michigan, if you've never been, they got good food. Got an Amish community that's in Michigan, and you're just a moments away from the border. So, Canada, right there, you can see Canada from downtown. So, it's pretty nice. Also, if you're into music. You got to go to Motown, definitely see out, check out the museum, do that little tour, turn the record label into it. Man, this is real cool. This is good information because if you didn't know, now you know. So all
Exactly.
right, so Michigan is definitely a place to put on our bucket list. Now, what other state? Let's go to one more state before we head
One more.
internationally.
I would say another state I like, but I like it for other reasons than just the tourist attractions would definitely be Florida. So the
Mm-hmm.
reason I say Florida is because I've been into this whole, nature movement where I just kind of go hikings on like on the weekends and stuff like that. But Florida, they're actually known for a lot of their freshwater springs and everything. So this past summer, I got to go a couple of times down there over like the whole COVID and everything. So I would definitely say if you're into like just going into like rivers and going kayaking and stuff like that, there's a couple places that you want to definitely check out. That's outside of like Orlando and all those places like in Ocala, Florida. So there's this place called Rainbow Springs, which is in Dunedin, Florida. It's about 20 minutes east of Ocala. It has freshwater springs that flow for a good 20 miles throughout the whole state itself, and it goes into like the ocean. But
Mm-hmm.
at these different points at the spring, so all it is you go to like the center point, and it's definitely like you see water, fresh water pumping up through the spring, and this is like natural cold water that you could drink fresh. I wouldn't recommend
Oh.
drinking it, but it's fresh water.
Right,
So
right.
once you get there, I mean, like admissions fees like $2 to get into the park. People have camping grounds and barbecues and everything going, and you could rent kayaks for like $15 and just go up and down the river at your leisure the whole day. So
Wow.
I mean, you're in people's backyards because everybody has like their little docks and everything going out to the river, so you can see everything out there. I mean, we was out there kayaking, came across alligators in the water, but the water is crystal clear. And these gators are not going to bother you. They're not just going to come up to you and start trying to harass you or anything like that. They're afraid of you. So,
Really?
but there's like
Like,
tall grass. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I was like, hey man, like when I saw it, I was like, hey, they're like, don't be bothered. As long as you don't go over to like the tall grass area, they're not going
yeah.
to come out and get you.
Uh,
So as long as you
okay.
stay in the main river part, you good. But
Okay.
yeah. So I'm talking about this water's like what 20 feet deep. You can see all the way down to the bottom of the water because everything's crystal clear. You have turtles, cranes, and everything out there. You got every kind of wildlife. So it's just amazing just to kind of be out there. It's real like serene and quiet. So I'll
Hmm.
definitely say check that out. And if you're more so looking into like doing any kind of scuba diving or anything like that, there's just a place about 30 minutes away just north of that called Devil's Backbone. And it's
Hmm.
like a underwater cave. So it's kind of like what Mexico is known for the cenotes and everything like that. So you walk
Hmm.
into this tavern and it's just crystal clear blue water. And you
Hmm.
can just snorkel there if you want to, or you could pay the extra fee. You usually have to book like a couple weeks in advance, but they
Hmm.
actually have like led scuba sessions where they'll take you into the caverns. You could go all throughout the cave and everything and checking out. So I definitely say if you're looking for something that's more artsy or not artsy, but more so nature side of things, and you just want to escape like the whole Disney and Universal kind of tourist attractions, definitely go down to Florida for a weekend, check out some of these places. And it's
Hmm.
real off grid, so you don't have to worry about trying to find a hotel or anything like that because there's going to always be some accessible out there because these are not well known places.
Not wow. See, yeah, that's a different perspective because a lot of times, folks, when we go to Florida, we always think of Orlando and Disney, South Beach, Miami, and all that. So it's definitely cool to do something different, do something, especially for you nature folks out there. I like nature myself, and I'm getting to hiking more. So I'm not I'm not a fan of the hiking process, but I love the end once you get to the top. The end game is for me is like, okay, it was worth it. So for you folks out there who love the nature, stop in Florida. Don't just go to the touristy areas. Go to the off the grid areas. Some nature. Get the Devil's Backbone. It's an underwater cave, so you can go snorkeling and whatnot. Fresh
Mhm.
water. You can drink it. Wouldn't recommend it, but you can. Also, don't get your ass snatched up by an alligator or crocodile or whatever the things is. So stay your ass in where you're supposed to be. So yeah, Florida was cool. Florida was real fun. Definitely got some nature in. So let's go ahead and take it. We got a little ways before we hit Budapest. So let's go ahead and go to what country? You tell us. You the pilot. I'm co-pilot, Johnny.
And let's see. I would say one of the most notable countries I've been to was Iceland. So Iceland was definitely a place you need to go check out. Like that's been on my bucket list for a couple of years, and I finally got to go. The end of 2018. So it was an experience. So just like getting everything, like as far as like what you need to know as far as going to Iceland, just be prepared for snow. Like just know it's cold. Like
Yeah.
when I was doing my Google research and just like trying to check the weather, like the forecast, how to prepare for it. I mean, no, I've been to New York a couple times in Chicago during the like middle of the winter. And I would still say Chicago's the worst place I've been when it comes to like cold because that wind up there is like this is just a different beast. So I was already expecting, you know, Iceland to be on the same level, which it was. It was a tad bit little, like shorter as far as coldest, but it was still like 18 degrees every single day when you wake up. So, but as far as Iceland, I would just say when going to Iceland, just definitely research, okay, where you want to stay, the things you want to do, because there's a lot of tourist attractions growing around Iceland now. And when I say tourist attraction, it's not like where they're trying to take your money or they're just setting up things that you wouldn't normally see, but is gaining a lot of attention as far as, okay, through social media and through their own like community. So there's this thing out there called the Golden Circle. So the Golden Circle is it's an actual highway out there that just goes around for a good like 8 hours drive. And it has all the scenery and everything you've probably seen on like the whole Instagram feeds and everything as far as notable places like the geysers, like the Diamond Head Beach, where it has like the black sands and everything like that, like the Blue Lagoon, stuff like that. So pretty much I would recommend first when you're going to Iceland, you're going to need a car. There is no Uber or anything like that out there. So you're going to definitely need to rent a car just to get around and it's more feasible that way. So at the time, I'm always good for like trying to find promotions and everything like that. So if you're like a Amex card holder or anything, they had this thing at the time where this car company called Turo, where you could rent people's personal vehicles and drive them. So there was a promotion on there where as long as you spend $200, they were going to give you back like 20,000 points via Amex, which works out to be about $100 back. So you basically spend $200, you get $100 back. Use that to my advantage, rented the car from when I landed, and I basically drove the whole time we were there. I was kind of reluctant at first because I didn't know if it was like they drove on the opposite side of the highway or if it's going to be too cold or if it's going to be, you know, snow on the roads and everything. But honestly, it was none of that. Like they drive on the same side of the road that we do here in the U.S. The roads were immaculate because I guess they're used to having winter year round. So I didn't have any like black ice or anything like that on the highways. So it was just an easy move from like place to place the whole time. So
nice.
Everything within the country itself is very spread out. So I stayed right outside the main city of the capital of Reykjavik. So I was staying in a hotel right off the highway and maybe a 15-minute drive into the city. You know, that's where everything is. So, you know, they got a lot of different, you know, amenities from like European culture and American culture. So you'll see KFCs, Burger Kings and stuff out there. While at the same time, you'll see a lot of mom and pop like Italian restaurants or fish and chip kind of places from the UK. So, I mean, it's definitely different places to eat at, but it's more so of a seafood port and a lot more, they're into, I would say, more girthy, eathy, or like meatier, like kind of, I would say, what's the word? Like bowls of soup and stuff like that. Like meat soups and meat pies and stuff like that. So, but the city itself, you know, there's not much to do other than, you know, just sightsee, check out a couple of restaurants here and there. So if you're planning on just going to Iceland just to stay in the city and just kind of walk around and do all that stuff, you're basically wasting your time because what you need to do is go out and venture into the countryside. So money-wise out there, everything is a lot more expensive because everything is imported. So, I mean, you're going to pay 3 times as much for something simple like a soda or a cheeseburger because, you know, yeah. So, I mean, like a bottle of Coke out there is like almost $8 of our money here in the U.S. So I'm just like, all right. And it's not even the full 20 ounce. This is maybe like a can almost. So,
wow.
Yeah. So definitely go to the grocery store, buy some stuff at the grocery stores there because you're going to save a little bit of money and stock up if you have a fridge or just pack some snacks and everything along the way. So I would definitely say when you starting off, like as far as what you want to do, to just follow the Golden Circle all the way around. You don't necessarily have to do the whole 8 hours, but there's ways where you can just go out to maybe like 4 hours, turn back around and just like kind of break up the trip, depending on how long you're going to stay there. I stayed for 5 days, so I got to do a little bit of everything. First stop, I definitely had to go check out the Blue Lagoon. That was the whole reason I wanted to go. I want to see what does it really entail? Is it really everything it says? And it did not fail. So I remember, yes, I'll talk about, I booked the reservations probably about 2 weeks in advance because you can't just walk up and pay. There's a chance you might be booked. So you always want to pay in advance, buy a package and everything. So I went out there. The parking's free and everything. You walk up and it's like real like scenic because when you're driving up, it's on a 2-lane highway and there's nothing out there, just mountains and just ice and snow. So you just randomly see like steam coming up from a distance, which is like the Blue Lagoon, all the hot air and everything. So when you're pulling up, it looks like a little lavish like spa or kind of retreat or anything like that. So the water is just like some kind of milky blue substance because you got all the different, lava and stuff coming up from the bottom, the sulfur and everything that changes the water colors. So you get inside, they give you the robes and everything, they give you a locker, and you walk in and you think you at some kind of ski lodge because, everything's just decked out inside. People walking around with the robes, they got the nice little restaurants towards the back, with all the servers and everything. And then you walk outside and then it's just like that cold air just hits you. But then you walk into that water, it's like 85 degrees, and it's just like it's the worst. It's like the best feeling ever. So, I mean, like the water, I was very pleased with the experience. So you could like go up into the water, and there's like different parts of the Blue Lagoon where everything is like man-made heated. So I guess there's like some kind of temp controls. So I thought everything was like a natural spring where it was just like the water is just naturally hot. Come to find out, everything is kind of climate controlled by like these machines that are to the side of the lagoon itself. So when you're in the lagoon, they got like different like water spouts and everything that you could go up and drink out of because it's all fresh water. And they got these little stations where you can get drinks, get like the different face masks and everything put on yourself. And they got the saunas and everything. So it was definitely an experience. I spent probably like a good 4 hours there just chilling just the whole time. So definitely check that out.
Yeah. I like that. It's a lot going on in Iceland. I didn't know. I'm glad that we talked about Iceland because that's on my bucket list. The Blue Lagoon. If you guys haven't been to the Blue Lagoon or haven't, just heard about it, only seen pictures, it sounds like it definitely meets the expectations when you get there. There's something called the Golden Circle where you can do the scenic drive about 8 hours. You can cut it up into 4 if you need to. And then if you're into like seafood, I guess they got good seafood, but be careful. The price it's a little pricey for us Americans, so everything is imported. So make sure you put that in perspective too. And also for the Blue Lagoon, you definitely want to book ahead of in like 2 weeks in advance or so because it's a good chance if you pull up, they're not gonna just take your money right away because it's full or what have you. So you definitely want to plan accordingly. And you got to rent a car. Definitely rent a car and go out and venture out. Don't just stay in the city. So yeah, it sounds like Iceland is definitely a place to go. Now let's go ahead and hit up another country. We still got a little ways before we get to Budapest, but let's hit up another country. What country would you like to talk about? Go to next?
Colombia, Cartagena. So that was I'll probably say that's probably one of my number one spots right there. So
okay. Go ahead.
What
would you say? Okay, because I've been to Cartagena. It's super hot. It's on the coast. It's the beachy area, and I also been in Bogota, which is the mountain is cold. It's the opposite. So all right. So tell us, what do you first? You like I said, you the pilot. You the tour guide now. We on the ground in Colombia. Let us know what we doing first.
I mean, every time the first thing I do when I get to any place, I'm going straight for the food. So first thing I did when I landed, put down my bags, went straight to the walled city in Cartagena. And I went to a couple of places within the city as far as like mom and pop places. Don't have any of the name of the places off the top of my head, but honestly, I would always recommend stay away from the places that have the TripAdvisor's logo on the door. They're good, but they're always tourist rated for popularity, so to say. So they're working in cahoots with the businesses to make more money. But go to the places usually right next door, those little hole-in-the-wall places, that's where you're going to get the best food. So, I mean, when I got there, first off, the first thing that caught my attention was just like how they make the food, all the food, different source and everything. Because I'm a big seafood eater, so I had a lot of different soups and everything like bisques and stuff like that with like large shrimp and crawfish and everything in there. So the food experience is immaculate. And the best thing to top it off is the conversion from their pesos to American dollar. So you're basically like you're rich when you walk down there with like $20. So I mean, for a whole meal, like the first meal I had, it was only like $5, and I had like a couple alcoholic drinks and everything. So I mean, I was in paradise when I found that out. So definitely the food. Next thing I'm gonna be automatically looking for is either the beach or an excursion. So Cartagena, like immediately, like in the city itself, it didn't have any, I would say, luxurious looking beaches right there in the whole tourist city part of town. You usually have to drive about an hour, which is what I did, to another side of Cartagena, which is like right outside the city, about a 20-minute drive or so. But went to this one beach called Blue Paradise. So what it is pretty much like a secluded beach right up through like the middle of the trees in the forest, and you walk down and it's just like an open beach, and you have all the locals and everything down there. They have their little tent set up, making fresh barbecue and chicken and everything right off the grill. So I would definitely say check that out. And then as far as nightlife, it was probably one of the better cities I've done the best partying in, because they have a lot of African diaspora. So when I got there was a lot of people that looked like us. So I'm like, yo, like I didn't know there was that many Black people out there. So I'm over there trying to have a conversation, but none of them speak a lick of English. So I was like, oh wow. I was like, okay, so that's different.
Yeah.
But they all know, like it's just crazy going to different places and seeing people that look like you, but don't have the same kind of upbringing. They all have a different culture, but they all party the same way. So we ended up going to a couple of clubs. This was this one place called Club Space, which was very nice. So you go inside, go up the stairs, and they're playing everything from, a lot of the Caribbean music to a lot of American music. There was some stuff I didn't even know that came out in the US that they already had their hands on playing in the club. So I was just like, wow. So, just a nightlife there is crazy. There's really no cutoff hours as far as when that party really ends. I was up till like 3:00 by accident. Just part of my life, I think it's like 12 a.m. So, I mean, definitely check out the party life if that's what you're looking to do. But as far as scenery, I would say, just book your tours, go out to like the different volcano baths and everything like that. Went out to, what was it called? The volcano, you've probably been there before, because this is a notable one where everybody goes in and they jump into the volcano ash and they're floating and they're taking like the whole mud bath and everything with it.
I seen that, yep.
Yeah, so that one was great. I would definitely say do that. With that trip, it was only like, $60 for all the excursions and everything. So everything is very feasible. And then, I mean, like the locals, everybody there treat you like family. Nobody's going to try to get over on you. Everybody's very sociable. So from when I landed, I just felt like I was at home the whole time. I had to keep kind of looking over my back, seeing if anybody's following me or if anybody's trying to do anything to me. It's just real chill. So I would definitely say if you're looking for party, or if you're looking for food, or if you're just looking there just to go to the beach and lay out the whole time, Cartagena is the place to be.
Like that. Yeah, definitely. I've been to Cartagena. If you like that type of that environment, it's a hot, humid environment. It's the beach area. So, I mean, the water feels amazing. You can get some good food in Colombia. That's for sure. That I concur. You can get some real good food. It's very flavorful. So, they look like us too. There's folks out there, Black folks who speak Spanish, look like us. So it reminds me of Dominican a little bit, because Dominicans look like us too and speak Spanish. So Colombia is the same way. You got it from your very light, fair skin to your dark of the dark, and they all just speak Spanish. So it's real cool. It's real cool. Something different, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and let's go to one more country real quick. Yeah, let's take a quick. Let's go ahead and escape Colombia for a hot second. Let's go one more country. What do you want to talk about? Where you want to go next?
All right. So this was my last big international trip before COVID. So I would definitely take it back to Morocco, Marrakesh. So that is an experience right there. So honestly, Marrakesh is so different from every other place I've been, because it has a mixture of Africa and a mixture of European, because it's owned by the French basically. So everybody out there speaks, Moroccan, or they speak French. So I would definitely say Morocco is another place to be, just because just the culture itself. So I'm not real big on, the food and everything out there, but I was just going to see, okay, what did the country entail? Because I've been hearing so much great things about, check out Morocco, visit the place, so much to do out there. And I mean, from the second the plane landed, man, I felt like I was in like Aladdin or something, man. It was just crazy. So I stayed at this one, man, like first off, the hotels, don't stay in a traditional like American or European hotel. You got to stay in these places called riads. which are basically people's houses that have multiple rooms. And there's usually like a big open foyer area where they either have a pool inside or there's just like an open area. But these are like the best places to stay because you get the most bang for your buck and you get to meet people from different places all over the world. So basically I stayed at this one place called the Rio Angeles. With this place, you know, it was like 3 stories, like 12 rooms inside. They fed you dinner, lunch, breakfast, everything you wanted was included in the package. I would definitely say if you're going to like places like Morocco or anything that's like an Islamic country, definitely don't look out there. Don't go there thinking that you're going to have a big party scene where you're going to be getting drunk because they don't drink alcohol out there. So, I mean, the most you'll find is maybe a couple beers, unless you go to like some of the casinos, then they'll have like your hard liquors and stuff like that. But just anywhere else in the city, they're not going to have it. But overall, Morocco itself, tons of stuff to do there. The city itself, honestly, all you have to do is either, depending on where you're at, you can walk into the city or you can hop on the back of these little bikes with a motor cage on the back, pay them like a couple dollars, maybe like $2, $3 American dollars, but it's their money. And it takes you anywhere in the city that you want to go. So, I mean, the first couple of nights I went into the marketplace, you see the people playing the flutes and the cobras coming out the little boxes and everything, weaving way into the music and everything. So that was definitely an experience. You got like the markets where they got all these different types of fruits and vegetables you cannot even fathom of ever seen in your life. So it's just like it's like an experience of just trying and tasting everything. They also have like the flea markets where it's basically like its own little city. You could get lost in there because it goes on for miles, just turns and everything. So you got to use your GPS and basically remember where you started, because there's a couple of times I got lost in there and I was just like, I was just here a second ago and then 5 hours later, I'm on the other side of the city. So definitely check that out. But overall, what sold me on Morocco is the desert. So I did something like that was on my bucket list. I decided to go spend the night in the Sahara Desert on a camping trip. So that was a lot different because we went like 5 hours into the countryside and you're like right there at the edge of the Sahara Desert. And there's like, you know, out there, there's no lights. All you have is the stars and the moonlight. So it was just like a unique to be like walking through the desert at night with somebody holding a torch. And then all you see is just like the silhouettes of the mountains. And you see the moon is just like brightening the whole desert sand for you. So did that, spent the weekend out there in the desert. And it was a unique experience because it was around March. So it was still like 80 degrees there. But at night, I always forget it's different in the desert. It does get cold. So I'm out there in a t-shirt chilling. And I'm like, wait. I'm like, where's the blankets and stuff? You know, they give you like these little hard cardboard box beds and these little traditional camping tents to sleep on. I'm talking about, it's like 30 something degrees out there. I see my breath and I'm out there wrapped up, could barely get any sleep because it's so cold out there. So I would definitely say, come prepared if you're looking to do an experience like that. But they gave us like all the traditional dishes and everything. They're real big on like chicken and like the soups, and they're real big on tea out there as well, the mint tea. So definitely, like, if you go out to these places, definitely come back with some of the herbs and stuff like that, because a lot of things like they use are like natural remedies that would definitely be good for, like, especially times right now with like combating COVID, like a lot of the mint crystals and stuff like that to inhale, you know, the tangine, which is like the cooking spices, all that good stuff, man. So, I mean, it's so rich in culture, and there's a lot of different people from all over the world that you meet there. I actually met some people who I'm still cool with now that actually live right down the street from here in Atlanta, that we just ended up on the same camping trip together out there. So it's just a small world, man. So, but one last thing about the place is I would definitely check out the waterfall there. It'll come to me in a second, but you're just walking down a trail and all of a sudden the whole cliff just drops off and it just turns into like, I want to say it's about a 300-foot waterfall. And there's like people down at the very bottom. They have like these little boat tours and everything, but people are down there swimming and jumping off the cliff, like young guys, locals jumping off the cliff into the water. And it's just like out there is like nobody really has any fears or cares. Like everybody out there is just trying to, you know, live their life as best as possible. And so I would just really say, if you go to Morocco, check out like everything outside the city of Marrakesh, but also to do like all the, you know, tourist stuff like the YSL Museum. Go check out the Martin Gargery and everything like that. So you'll definitely have a good experience. It's not going to break your pockets, and you'll definitely have something to talk about as far as, you know, for like years to come, as far as what you saw and what you encountered out there. So that would be some Morocco for me, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Morocco, put it on your list if it's not already. You could do quite a bit. Not really too known for their food, so to speak, but good sightseeing. If you would like, you can go camping in the desert, right on the edge of Sahara Desert. It's definitely different than what you're probably used to, but you have a beautiful scenery of the stars at night and whatnot. It gets cold, so make sure you be prepared and have like sweaters and blankets and all that good stuff. You definitely don't want to, because there is such thing as desert drop. So that's when it gets real cold. So be prepared on that. And then of course you can do all the local things, the museums and all that good stuff. And they're also known for their teas as well. So if you're a tea fanatic, try their teas definitely. And then the waterfalls, it's
Zoo.
just a lot going on in Morocco. Yeah, it's just a lot going on. So let's go ahead. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, all my listeners out there, we are officially landed in Budapest. So welcome. Now,
Yes.
man, we ready to hit the ground running. We off the plane, stretching our legs. We got our bags. We're ready to go. So what's the first thing you recommend while we're here in Budapest?
So Budapest is a little bit different. So it's probably one of the most different cities I've been to in Europe because it's more so Western, or it's further west into Europe, and it's more of a darker Gothic kind of city compared to everything like France and all those other major cities. But with Budapest, so with me, I had a different experience. I went there for my birthday. So I stayed at this place on the Danube River, which is the second biggest river in Europe. So it actually separates Buda from Pest, which are two different cities in Hungary, but they're combined together to say Budapest. So that was something I did not know. So I've stayed at this hotel right there on the river, and it was a nice resort. It was what is the place called? Let me see. Can't come to me right now. I'll get you on that in a second. But right in the middle of the river, what you need to know as far as getting around the city, everything is pretty much take the like the trolleys and the buses. So the unique thing about the city is you can actually get on the bus technically for free. I'm saying this unofficially because it works on the what you call it. It works on a whole system of being honest. So you can get on the bus and you supposedly have to either show them your ticket or put like a few coins, is less than $1 to take the bus anywhere in the city. But once you have that ticket, you can basically get on any other transit system in the city and take it around the whole day without paying again, because nobody's really going to check you because it's on the honesty system. Now, that's not to say that a police officer cannot come up to you and be like, hey, can I see your ticket? Which I didn't see that the whole time, but that's how they work out there. So if you're just kind of looking to get around real quick and hop off and get off at the next exit, that would be the best way to get around. No need to rent a car or anything. But what they're known for is their goulash. So that's what they call their soups and traditional dishes, where it's like mashed potatoes, you got your briskets and your steaks all mashed together with the rice and peas and other fruits and vegetables. And that's how they eat it. It's just like a hot dish. So that's what they're known for. So I would definitely say check out the goulash. And they're also known for their deer. They eat some reindeer, was what they call it, but it's basically their sausage out there. So when I went, it was December. So, I mean, it was more of the Christmas time. So they drink a lot of ciders and wines out there. So all throughout the city, right when you get off the plane, you smell a lot of sweet smells. So what they're doing is they're basically boiling like fresh grapes and seasons, and they're fermenting it right in front of you on every corner. And then they're basically just serving it to you like hot. So it's basically like a hot wine. So it's very sweet. It tastes like warm grape juice, but with like a little kick to it. But you'll definitely enjoy it. It's just something different. So definitely try that out. They're known for a lot of different like sweet dishes and tarts and stuff like that out there. So definitely go to like one of the coffee shops out there. You'll have a blast trying out all the food like that. For me, what sold me on going to Budapest was the different hot water thermal springs. So they have two notable ones, but they have about 5 within the city that are more for the locals that they'll know more about. But I definitely checked out the Snechny hot thermal bath. So what this is like a galleria you walk into, and they have it's basically like Iceland all over again. You walk in, they give you lockers and everything, and it's just like a huge thermal spa. So it's all outside, and then they have a couple inside as well. So imagine it's like the same setup again. It's like 20-something degrees outside. It's freezing cold. You walk outside, and it's like a huge swimming pool. Everybody's in, and the water is like 90 degrees. So You mean you're out there all day, you're drinking. So be careful, because if you're drinking out there and you're in the hot water and you get out and come in again, it's going to catch up to you at one point. So you're not going to feel it when you're drunk. So, I mean, that was the biggest mistake I made. I was a couple drinks in and I was in the pool. I was like, oh, I'm good. I got out. And next thing I'm stumbling all over the place. So I was like, oh, Lord. But definitely be careful with that. But I mean, you'll definitely have a good time doing that. But also definitely check out the unique different types of beers and stuff they have out there. So I like to travel just to taste food, like I said so far, but I'm also a big beer fanatic. So far, like the best place I've been for beer would definitely be Belgium, but definitely with Budapest, they have their own assortment of beers and breweries out there as well. So I would say they make it more of a wheat and more of a ale type of beer. So if you're more so into like more tart kind of sweet tastes and stuff like that out there, that's the place to be for it. Beers and everything like that are definitely cheap, because that's stuff that's more domestic, where you're still probably going to pay a little bit more for like all the Cokes and all the traditional American drinks and stuff like that out there. But also definitely check out this one place, what is called the Galert. So this is another thermal spring, but this one is inside an actual, it looks like a train station, and everything is all fully inside. So you have like the huge glass stained windows on the ceilings, and it's like an upstairs and downstairs, and it's like an indoor pool again. But you have different sides of the thermal spa, where some pools are a lot more heated than others, and some of these pools are more so for people to go swimming in. So you'll find a lot more people, swimming throughout the pool like it's Olympic-sized pools and stuff like that. They do have an outside portion if you're really trying to risk it. So outside more is where it's more of a smaller pool and everything, but with it, they have a sauna on the other side of it where you go in. And for them, it's a tradition where once you come out the hot pool, you go into the sauna for a couple minutes. And then this is like a human-sized bucket filled with like ice water that they'll just jump in. And I'm like looking at people, I'm like, bro, come on, look at me. I don't do that foolishness. So it's already 15 degrees outside. You tell me you want me to get out the hot water, go in the sauna with your pores open, and then hop in this ice bucket of water. Torture. I was like, exactly. But I mean, that's what the people out there do, is supposedly kind of like, it's supposed to close up their pores so they don't get sick going from the hot and cold and so forth. So that's definitely something, you want to check out. But if you're more so looking for shopping and everything like that, I would definitely say go check out like the marketplace right over there by the Galert, right across the bridge. It's more of their traditional farmers market. You go in there, get all your souvenirs, your clothing, fresh meats. They also have a lot of different spices and stuff out there as well, which I didn't think they would readily have. So they had all the paprikas, which is another thing they're known for out there. Paprika, their spices, the sugars, their grounded crushed red peppers. Everything out there they make is pretty much all from like natural farm stuff from locals out there. So you'll definitely have a blast doing that. If you want a more scenic approach to seeing the whole city from like a high point, go to the Vulcan. It's right there at the same place by the Galert, but you would have to take there's two ways to get there. You could either walk all the way up the mountainside yourself, which I'll probably not recommend because at the time it was ice all over the place. A couple people slid down the side of the mountain. But these are all steps though. These are like man-made steps. So you'll be fine if you're walking in the summertime. But I mean, in winter, you'll probably want to take the bus up to the very top. So once you get to the top, I mean, it encompasses the whole city basically. You probably see all the way out to the end of the Danube and everything. But at the very top, they have like a whole man-made a statue of like one of their warriors or like an angel at the very top. And you can just see everything from there. So you can see the state capitol building, the parliament building. You can see the islands all across the Danube River. So it's a good lookout point. So good photo opportunity and everything, just to be like, hey, I've been to Budapest and I'm on both sides, see everything. But I will also say for dinner wise, you do have you have your American stuff like the Hard Rock Cafe. I went to this one place right next to the Hard Rock Cafe, which is the Budapest Ice Bar. So ice bars are quite notable all across the U.S., especially down in Florida. They have one in Orlando, but this one's a little bit differently. So it's a restaurant, but then it's like a freezer in the back that you have to have a special code to get access to. And once you put that code in, you walk in, and it's like everything is like sculpted out of ice. So you have the ice blocks and, ice sculptures in there, and then they serve you your drinks in these ice-made glasses. So everything is all naturally cold. So you have to have it come in there with the fur jackets and coats and everything. Check that out. So it's definitely great. Nightlife wise, I didn't really find too many parties and stuff like out there, at least not I was really attracted to. But I mean, everything stays open to pretty much 1, 2 o'clock in the morning as far as your normal like restaurants, nightlife, scenery, and stuff like that. But overall, the city itself, it just has so much to offer. And it was just so rich in culture to the point where it's like, man, like I don't see how I could ever leave and want to go back to the US after being in, like this part of Europe. But as far as like communicating with people, a lot of people out there speak English, but the most notable languages out there is like Hungarian and Romanian. So I actually got a 2-for-1 deal when I went out there because I actually booked a surprise trip for myself, so to say, to Austria. So I went to Austria. Surprise trip. Yeah. So went to Austria, which was like an hour train ride outside of Budapest. So I got to see a whole nother country and everything. And those are like two different cities. One's night, one's day, because Austria, a lot cleaner, a lot quieter, and there's really nothing going on. But it's just unique to be in a place like that, because I would say Austria is one of those places where if you're looking for like name brand, like your Louis, Gucci, Omega watches and stuff, they are all out there, like the whole strip and everything. So it was more, I went out there for the day, for the birthday, just kind of, try some different foods and beers and stuff like that. So I would definitely say if you're in Budapest, give it, all you really need is like 4 days out there. After that, you pretty much done everything, and kind of like just hop a train and go somewhere else on the outskirts and go check out another country within another 30 to an hour away.
Yeah, that's well said, man. It's a lot to do in Budapest, man. They're known for the goulash. So if you're you like your meat and your potatoes and all that type of stuff and soups and what have you, goulash may be the dish for you. And then also if you are into beers and whatnot, you might want to try some good beers out there. Belgium may have the best, it's arguable, or argue, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, debatable, that's a better word. Yeah. So I'm not much of a beer drinker myself, but you might want to try it out. And then also they have the thermal hot springs as well. So if that's something you're into, I think that's. I think I've never been to Budapest, so I've heard about it, and I heard it's actually a party city as well, or a place to party and whatnot, nightlife. So a lot of stuff to do in Budapest. Now, as far as everything that there is to do, what was your favorite aspect of Budapest?
Budapest, I would definitely say the cruise up and down the Danube. So it just gave you both sides of the city to see from the center point. So just take a cruise. It's like a good hour-long cruise. They give you champagne and alcohol the whole time. And it just shows you everything how it is at night. So you get to see like the Parliament building lit up at night. You get to see like the whole Balkan from a distance. So it was just a good experience overall. And then it like drops you back over to the island where I was staying.
So is there anything, Budapest is great, but is there anything that you disliked about Budapest?
Man, I would definitely just say the cold, man. Like I'm all for going to different places just to kind of get, the whole feel of it. And I purposely went to Budapest knowing that it was going to be cold, but I wasn't expecting it to be that cold. But I would definitely say if I go somewhere, the only thing I'm really not going to like at the time is just going to probably be the weather. Everything else was exactly and much more than what I expected.
Cool. Yeah. I know what you mean by the weather. I'm a weather person. Now, mine is more the hot, the real hot with the humidity. That's I'm not a fan. I can do the cold. I think I'll do the cold better than the hotness and the humidity. So, but yeah, everyone has their own thing. Now, far as the type of place Budapest is it more of what type of traveler? Is it a solo traveler, group travel, romantic with you and your lady, or you and your dude, or what are your spouse? What is it for? Who is it for?
I would definitely say it would be made for more of a solo traveler and a more romantic spot. So it was like when I went with me and my girlfriend at the time. So that was definitely a great trip for both of us. That was actually for our first international trip at the time. So it got, it had a little bit of best of everything, as far as just going to like the alerts and the pools and saunas and everything like that. It just, you had like, you felt like you was at the Four Seasons basically. And then, a lot of like the culture there is very catered to you. So it was like the whole aspect of being around like all the nice scenery, the landmarks and the structures. And, with it being like almost Christmas time, you have that whole warm feeling and everything. So I'd definitely say it's more for a romantic couple. But at the same time, if you're going in like off season, like maybe the summer or something like that, you'll have a blast just going by yourself solo. So, I mean, all the European cities, in my opinion, are very easily to like travel by yourself. because everything is already kind of structured out. It's not like where you're trying to overcome too many language barriers, or
Hmm.
you can't just easily use, different like, social media apps and tools to kind of find your way around the city itself. So I would definitely say it's the best of both worlds. You could definitely do both of them in that city itself.
Cool, cool, cool. Now, what about visas for Americans? Do we need any visas or any type of vaccinations, anything? Is it pretty, or just passport is all we need?
All you need is a passport. That's all you need. I think with some of these places, like maybe Budapest, you need to at least have one open page so they
Mhm.
could do the stamps and everything. That's all they really require. But you are good to go.
Okay, okay. Now, is there anything that you expected before going to Budapest that didn't meet the expectations or maybe even exceeded your expectations?
I would probably say the food itself. I was expecting a more, I guess, more diverse plates and different things to try out there other than just the goulash. I thought more so I was going to have, access to like, I don't know, different dishes from maybe from like the Western Europe. But I mean, that just was on my behalf because I didn't research it more enough. But when I did do my research, all I really saw was, oh, I need to try goulash. That's what everybody kept raving about, goulash. So,
Right, right.
definitely when I got there, I tried it. It was good, but it was not something I would normally eat on an everyday basis. But it was
Hmm.
good for just the experience itself. But I would definitely just say overall the food quality and what you had at your leisure out there to try and eat, it wasn't
Hmm.
as big of a variety as I've seen in other places.
Okay, okay, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, definitely. We like variety, so if you don't like one thing, we go to the next. So definitely understand that. Now, I'm assuming maybe you flew. I don't know where you flew out of. Where did you fly out of? How long was that flight?
So when I was going to Budapest, let me remember. If I'm not mistaken, I flew, yeah. So I flew out of Atlanta to France, and that was roughly about a 7 hour flight. And then from France to Budapest, that's roughly about a 2.5 hour flight from there. So it's not that bad. Most of with me, when I get on a plane, I go straight to sleep or I just like watch movies and stuff. So I'm usually at peace. So I don't really have too much to worry about. Flying into Budapest is not that bad either. It's like flying from here to Texas, honestly. So if you're not a big flight person, that second portion of the trip is going to be a breeze. Now, the first portion, depending on where you're coming from in the U.S., that might be like the longest leg flight. So if you have any kind of flying anxiety or anything like that, definitely take a couple melatonin pills or something like that. Go straight to sleep and just kind of relax as much as possible.
Right, right. And I know you mentioned some your accommodation. Do you recall where you stayed? Where was that you stayed, and how was the accommodation? How was it out there?
So I stayed at the Margaret Island Resort. So that's the name of the
Hmm.
actual island itself. And they have like two resorts on this island. It's probably about a mile long in diameter. So it was basically a normal traditional hotel. It looked kind of eerie from outside because it looked like something you might see on American Horror Story. So I was kind of reluctant at first, but
Yeah.
I was just like, but once you got inside, it had a whole regal feel, chrome plated, stairwells and everything. So the rooms were fantastic. I mean, they were huge. You had your own huge walk-in shower. They had all the amenities and everything that you could think of that any other hotel or resort would have. So they had their own pools and thermal spas indoor at the bottom of the hotel. They had their own dining and everything, lunch, dinner, breakfast. Wasn't included, but you would actually breakfast was included, but dinner and everything you had to pay for a small fee. But I actually enjoyed the food at the hotel a little bit more than I actually did at the overall city, even though these were more so common dishes that they served in the country itself. They didn't really accommodate too much to American taste, so to say. So you're not gonna find like French fries and stuff like that all over the place, but you're gonna find like the same goulash dishes. You're gonna find a lot of different teas, beers. They also eat a lot of different like fish and stuff that I've never even heard of out there. So you'll have a lot of access to that type of stuff. As far as getting to where I was staying, that was, I would say, it was a hassle because since you're in between both of the countries or both of the cities and it's in the middle of a river, you have to go over a bridge and then either you can walk down a little stairwell and walk to the hotel, or there's a bus that comes like every half an hour that rides down this bridge and then cuts across the island to the other side. So it was definitely, easy access. But if you're looking to plan your day and trying to get somewhere quick, you probably need to, plan in advance and have some kind of means of, what time the bus is coming to get to where you need to be on time.
So, what is the best means of transportation as far as public? Is it the buses,
The
taxis? Do they
bus.
have Uber? Or the bus is the best way to get
Yeah.
around? Okay.
They do have Uber. I didn't really play around with it too much other than the first night when I was running late for that cruise. But other than that, like I would definitely say just hop on the bus. They have that whole, the whole policy about, just making sure that you pay properly. Nobody's really going to check you, but just to be on the safe side, give them a little dollar or two so you don't have nothing like lingering over you. So definitely take the bus. It's easy to get to and from all around the city. I would definitely say when you're going from the airport into the city or even going from the city to the airport, please plan on time because those buses, they do not run as readily. So the last day I was leaving, there's a bus that you have to take straight from the city that goes a straight shot to the outskirts of Budapest. It's about a 30-minute drive or so because it's a little ways off into the countryside. But do plan on time to get there because you have to go to these little ticket kiosks or there's people outside selling tickets for these buses. And the bus itself is about, I would say, $5 conversion to American dollars. And then it takes you out there. But let's say if your flight, let's say is leaving at 12, be on the bus that's going to leave at 10 o'clock. So be out there by 9:30 or so because I almost got left and I almost was out there stuck without any kind of means. So luckily I caught the last bus out there and I was able to make my flight on time. So that would be the best way to do it. If you really want to go ahead and play around with Uber, do that. But I just don't like doing it in different countries other than the US. I'd like to try different things.
I got you. Yeah, maybe use the Uber as a plan Z if all else fails. Maybe have that in your back pocket just in case. So yeah, that's not a bad idea. So yeah, it's a lot to do in Budapest, man. We did quite a bit. So it's time to start wrapping things up. We're gonna hit the gift shop, get some souvenirs before we catch this flight back. But Brandon, is there anything else that you would like to cover or talk about that we didn't mention so far before we catch this flight back home?
Nah, man, I think we covered just about everything. Like, also just make sure when you go to these places, get your souvenirs, man. Like, I'm a big souvenir fanatic. So if it's whether just like a small magnet or some kind of alcoholic beverage, I keep a lot of that stuff when I come back. So, I mean, I got a whole like pantry full of like wines and beers from all across the world. So definitely bring something back for yourself or something for the friends.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. As travelers, we always like we collectors too. We like to collect things from the different countries we've been to. We not only collect stamps, but it depends. Some folks collect shot glasses. Some folks collect liquor and don't drink them. Some folks just collect whatever little trinkets that they get at the souvenir shop. So definitely do that. Now we do have to head on back, y'all. So we have to catch this flight. So on this way back home, we do have one last segment. It's called the lightning round. And in the lightning round, I'm gonna ask you a list of questions and you have to answer them as quickly as possible. So quick. All right, sense of urgency. Not only that, you have you can only answer with one word answers. So you can't use sentences and stories and all that. Just short and simple, short and sweet. And let me go ahead and get ready. And let's see here. Now I'm ready, Brandon. What about you? You ready?
I think I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, let's get it. Now, question number one. What is your favorite airline?
Delta.
What is your favorite hotel?
The Rio.
What is your favorite cruise line?
Norwegian.
What is your favorite state?
Ooh. Nevada.
What is your favorite country?
Country, Colombia.
What is your favorite hotel booking site?
Expedia.
What is your favorite flight booking site?
Google Flights.
What is one thing that Brandon must bring on all his trips?
My backpack.
Where do you want to go next?
Ooh, Hawaii.
What other state would you live in?
DC, Washington, D.C.
What other country would you live in?
Italy.
Last question. What is your favorite travel podcast?
The Global Travel Podcast.
Good answer. Much appreciated, Brandon. Hey, much appreciated, man. Thank you for stopping by, showing some love and dropping all your knowledge, bro. Appreciate it, man. All right, to all my travelers out there, we are approaching our home airport. We are ready to land. So the plane is now descending. I need you back into your seats, buckle up, trays up, and the seats in the upright position. But before we land, Brandon, if you could do us a huge favor, if you can give us one last piece of travel advice, what would that be?
Definitely research every place you go to beforehand, as far as what are some of the culture norms, things to do, not to do, and just like have an open mind. So when you go there, you're not expecting things to be one way and then you're in your feelings because it turns out to be the complete opposite.
Yeah, yeah. Well said, man. Definitely pay attention, take notes, man. He's dropping some knowledge for you right there. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially landed. You can unbuckle your seatbelts, grab your belongings, and exit the cabin. Thank you for flying here with us at the Global Travel Podcast. With that being said, you guys, see you on the next trip. If you would like to be a guest on our show and tell us about your travel experiences, then leave us a comment in the comment section below so we can reach out to you. Also, if you have any countries, states, or cities that you'd like us to review, please let us know so we can plan a trip there. Lastly, if you got some good value today and liked our podcast, please hit the like button and click subscribe so you can travel with us again next time. So subscribe right now because you don't want to miss the next trip. With that being said, over and out.